Hey, welcome to Seen, Known, Paid. I'm your host, Marina Gergis, and this is the podcast where I share the secrets on building your true to self personal brand and the mindset shifts that will help you feel lit up about your business, attract dream clients, and live life on your own terms without selling your soul to the social media algorithm or following any BS bro marketing tips out there. So let's get into today's episode. Being called to a next level, an evolution of yourself. But do you dare answer the call? That is the question here today and what I want to talk to you about. How often do we hear a calling within to change, to evolve, to create something different, but we stay the same? Why do we stay the same? What are we scared would happen if we did answer the calling? That is the yearning of our soul to change and to channel something different. Oftentimes we sit with a desire to express ourselves deeper, but we're scared. What would that mean for my current self? Does that mean that my current self is lost, never to be found again? Or does it mean that your current self gets to evolve into something bigger? But with that, you have to understand that you're going to have to release something. So for me, that came to me about 2.5 years ago when I was amidst the success of my business. I would say the pinnacle, the epitome of being a very successful coach, launches. I had this group program called the Brand Development Coaching Program. It was selling out 8 women, 3K every time, on repeat, rinse and repeat. I was getting speaking engagement. I felt like my content was just landing, resonating, and then crash. And I didn't understand at that time why it crashed. Why did I hit that point of, oh, I don't see myself doing this anymore? I had stopped hosting this group program despite it being very successful and dropped everything actually. And when I dropped everything, of course, my income dropped. It dipped. But I wanted to see what would happen if I answered a call for something deeper. So I took about a year, kind of on and off, from sharing how I used to share a lot of content, launching the program again. And it wasn't until I went to Mexico about a year ago, and some of you know this story, but I was in a breathwork session and it hit me. In that moment where my body was completely released and surrendered, it hit me what I needed to do next. And that was the birth of my retreats. And it wasn't that easy to go from okay, I channeled this idea, I have it now, I'm answering the call, okay, the retreats are going to be successful. It wasn't like that. It was a process of needing to understand what is stopping me fully from owning my calling, which was to facilitate spaces of deeper transformation. Instead of just being brand strategist, that is the core. That is something I do. That is something I do really well and I've identified with for so long. But the calling was to step into a next level of leadership. And I know a lot of you are in this season of a call of stepping into more truth, more leadership, more you-ness, more of you channeled into the spaces that you're creating, but you're scared. Because what I was scared of at that moment was I was scared that this would not resonate for people. I was scared that that meant I will lose clients, income, followers, and I did. So the thing I was scared of happening when I answered the call happened. And it's still happening. But the best thing about the loss is that it's now aligning me with more of what I prayed for, what I've been asking for. You can't pray for big things and a new direction and continue resisting when that is being shown to you. You cannot resist what is being shown to you and where you need to go. So for me, that was like a huge evolution over the last 1.5 years of first answering the call of like, I need to step into more leadership. I need to release just being known for one identity and testing out different ways of sharing my voice. You know, I started to test that out on my podcast. I started to test that out within my community first. So safe spaces to test out this new thing that you've been curious about. And I want to tell you, like, we're now in a window of eclipses. Like we had the solar eclipse happen. We have a lunar eclipse this weekend. And it is going to bring up more of, here's the calling. Will I answer the call? Will I answer the call? And maybe it's not time for you to answer in this moment, but do you know what the calling is? And for me, it was when I answered the call, like I said, I started to see things fall away. And that really broke me down. To see people that I used to be connected with, you know, brand collaborators, things kind of just like crashing down. And in that moment, I thought like, why? Why would I do this? And then I realized, like I said, it is only bringing in more of what I've been asking for. And that is still forming. So it's not like you're going to answer the call and all of a sudden you'll be like, good, I got it. I can speak my truth all the time. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to feel like, what the heck did I just do? I was doing great before. But were you? Do you ever feel like you're doing great if you're censoring yourself? No, you can't sleep at night because once you hear the call, you cannot stop hearing it. It's a siren. It keeps buzzing in your ears and your heart, telling you something needs to change. I feel like this live is just so meta and so philosophical. There isn't a one specific answer to will you answer the call and how do you answer it, because only you know. And you know when you sit with it, when you create space to see what is actually coming through and what wants to transmute into your brand presence, into the way you're communicating. And that connection with yourself is what allows you then to channel that into storytelling. I was just sharing on my stories today that no one can teach you how to be authentic. No one can teach you how to be more of yourself. You have the tools inside of you right now, the wisdom within, to be able to create this next thing that you want to create. But you have to have the courage to trust your wisdom, to trust that you can do it, to trust that yes, you will lose some things, but you will gain much more. You will gain more sense of self, more truth in who you are. I love this topic so much because in my work, I have coached so many women and I've seen them come to a point where they're like, I really don't feel like myself anymore. And I look at what they've been creating and they're still stuck with what they've been creating from 4 or 5 years ago. Girlfriend, of course you're not going to feel like yourself. Of course you're going to feel bored. Boredom is a really good place to pinpoint at a change that needs to happen. So I want you to pay attention to where are you feeling bored with your content, with your brand, with your presence, even with your style and how you carry yourself. That to me was a big thing. I was like, I let go of myself, not because I didn't want to take care of myself anymore, but because I really was bored. And if you're bored with the content that's out there, if you're bored with what you're putting out, ask yourself, what is trying to channel through me because I'm witnessing this boredom, I'm experiencing this boredom, what is trying to come out? That only I can transmute to the world. And that is wisdom within, my loves. That is channeling the truth that is trying to be birthed through you and only through you. And I want to say that this doesn't mean exposing yourself and putting out dirty laundry and all of that. You know, if you know my brand, you know I do not suggest that. This is a personal process that then becomes an outer process. And the way this personal process becomes an outer process is by you first integrating what it means for you to have evolved, to have changed, to want to speak about different things. What does it mean for you to be the person you've always meant to be and the leader you've always meant to be? So I invite you to journal about this question. What is being asked of me right now that's been trying to be birthed through me for a while, but I have been resisting? And the second question is, why have I been resisting? Is it because I have a fear of losing something when I do come out with my full truth, or I change paths, or I go from being brand strategist to retreat host, or I go from this to that? Remember that your people are there because of the essence that you carry, the thing that no one else can replicate. And don't let people on social media fool you. This is not a strategy. This is not a strategy. The moment you make this a strategy is the moment you lose the truth behind what you are meant to transmute here. This is a connection with self first. And that connection with self is what allows you to channel what you're meant to say into the world. I love journaling as a process of coming into what is my truth by asking what is alive in me today. So on my Egypt retreat, that is actually a big part of what we're doing. Sitting with what is alive in me. And for 6 days, a guided what is alive in me through temples, through the vortex of being in the energy of death and rebirth of the ancient Egyptians. We are coming into connection to this source, to this middle part, the spine of who we are, learning how to write about it, learning how to speak about it, learning how to channel it into stories, not for algorithms, not to perform, not for people to pay us, but to be in this state of connection, in this state of resonance between what you're saying, what you're doing, what you're thinking. It opens you up to more than what you thought you were going to do when you just had the strategy. This is where your strategy becomes more potent. So first, journal about the prompts that I shared in this live. I'm going to actually repost this so that you have the replay, so that you have the journals, because honestly, this was all channeled. I don't have a script. I'm not looking at a script. When I go live, I go fully channeled. So I don't even remember what I said to repeat it back to you, but there were 2 journal prompts. And how to answer the call, is there an ask for change? And I invite you to do it this week, because we are in between the eclipses and there is a very potent energy asking for change now. You know, asking for a release of perfectionism, especially the energies that are being activated is Virgo and Pisces. So I want you to sit with releasing an idea of who I used to be. And then allowing a transmutation of something new to come through. And it doesn't mean that you're ready to share it yet. You can sit with it and first sit with it and connect with it. And then you're able to share it with the world. And if you want to go on a guided journey where that is happening for you, if you've been sitting on a need and a desire for a different kind of self-expression, a different kind of transmutation of truth, or even you've just been feeling just so bored with how you've been doing things, you're so overperforming, then your invitation is to come to Wisdom Within. To come be in a space where that is facilitated for you. You think you can do it alone, but watch what happens when you're in an energetic field being supported. And this energetic field is not just the country we're in. It's not just Egypt. It's not the vortex. It's also the women who are there. Because what happens is we're co-regulating our nervous systems when we're together in the room with other people. They're helping you process things that you didn't even see, things that you didn't even know. So this invitation is for the woman who is ready to answer a bigger calling, a bigger way of sharing her truth and stepping into leadership, embodied leadership. And I'll talk about this maybe in another live. But that was my message for you today, all channeled from the heart. Nothing was scripted. So I'm going to put the replay up if you want to watch again and do the journals. Thank you for being here with me. And until then, stay vivacious. Bye. Hey, welcome back to Seen, Known, Paid. I'm your host, Marina Gerges.